golly, that's good. I cracked myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. That's different. I really like that. They're like together, like peas and carrots. That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Peychauds or Peychaud. This is not what I expected. Here it is. This is a fight of the ages. I've been talking about doing this. I think I tasted the small batch last June. Yeah, I think it was June. It might have been the end of May. So I knew it was going to be a good 6 months that I wanted to let this sit without touching it. This one, the E.H. Taylor small batch, has been open 2.5 years. And so what I'm doing is, and it really is a blind. It's not a double blind because I know what the two things are, but it is a blind. I had my 23-year-old daughter come downstairs and pour the glasses, make sure they're even, and then I told her to put the E.H. Taylor back in the tube because I cannot see the darkness of what's inside. I can't see the shade, the hue, what the color is. I don't know if Smokewagon is lighter than E.H. Taylor. I don't know if E.H. Taylor is lighter than Smokewagon. I have a hunch, but we're going to go through it all tonight, and it's going to be East versus West, Kentucky versus Nevada, E.H. Taylor versus Smokewagon. Let's talk about E.H. Taylor first. Retails in the state of Ohio for $50. It's $49.99. It's made by Buffalo Trace. It's considered one of the best in their line. And I remember when I first had it, I was like, I don't like it. But that was very, very early in my bourbon journey, and it was still on the shelves at that time. So this would have been 2017, 2018, very, very early. I was just getting into like the Woodford Reserve. I had just gotten, I had finally opened up a bottle of Jim Beam, that 80 proof. I had a pint of that I'd had for 20 years and never opened. So it was getting about that time, and I thought, all right, we're going to try something different, get out of the gins and the vodkas and have bourbon. So when I first opened this, I was like, I don't think I like this very well. But everybody at the campsite was very excited about it, so I ended up sharing that whole bottle, and then I got another one out of pure dumb luck. And this one I've been going through very, very slowly. It's mash bill number 1. Speculation on that is 75% corn, 10% rye, 15% malted barley. It might actually be a little higher in corn and lower in rye, perhaps 77% corn and 8% rye. So it's a speculation. They keep mash bill 1 very private, as well as mash bill 2, the rye mash bill, the wheat mash bill. All of them are private. They don't talk about it, but that's the speculation. It's 100 proof. It's bottled in bond. So it's at least 4 years, but speculation again online is that this is probably a 7 or an 8 year age statement. It ages exclusively in Buffalo Trace's exceptional Warehouse C, built by Colonel E.H. Taylor himself back in 1881. So it's got some really nice heritage to it. All right, so this 75% corn, 10% rye, 15% malted barley. Now moving over to the Smokewagon. Both are small batch. Both are 100 proof. This is $50. This is $56, $55.99. This is distilled by Nevada H&C. Well, actually, it's distilled by MGP. This is MGP juice. But the distillery is H&C Distilling. Mash bill on this is public. 60% corn versus 75. 36% rye versus 10. 4% malted barley versus 15. 100 proof as well. Aged around 5 years in the Nevada desert. Smokewagon Small Batch Bourbon made by combining the company's older age corn whiskey stock with younger rye whiskey barrels. Like the rest of the two offerings that Smokewagon makes, Smokewagon Small Batch Bourbon is non-chill filtered. So why are we putting, hi James, how are you? Why are we putting these two back to back? They sound so different. Well, if this is considered the top of the top, this one people were telling me was winning in taste tests. Now, 36% rye bill. That is really a high rye. However, because it's a young rye versus aging it with the corn, it doesn't get as spicy as you might have in a similar age statement if they're all aged together. right? So, so that's going to be the difference here. Now, as I look at them, I see that one is definitely darker than the other. And I didn't get a chance to look at this. I had my daughter pour it, and these are big pours. But I asked her to because I wanted to be able to go back and forth between them. And by the end of this, I am going to be talking funny because, again, it was another week that I didn't drink. So it's 2 weeks now. 2 weeks I didn't drink, except for on Thursday night. If I had to guess, just by... I'm going to guess that the darker one is a Smokewagon and the lighter one is the E.H. Taylor. Just because the E.H. or the lighter one tends to have some very, very normal coloring, some normal notes. Although this one very much could be still the E.H. Taylor because it's darker, which means it would have sat in the barrel longer. So I really have no idea. But let's start the rumble, shall we? Both 100 proof, both at least 4 years. East versus West. We're going to start off with this lighter color. Okay, it's got some astringency on the nose right off the top. Right off the bat, that's the first thing I got was that astringent kind of alcohol-y bite. This has been poured for probably 10, maybe 15 minutes, so it's been sitting for a little while. When the kids got back, that's the first thing I did. I said, go down and pour this for me. Okay, it's got some nice cinnamon on it, vanilla, a lot of your typical notes. That astringency is still just biting me through, though. It's that alcohol sting, for lack of a better phrase. All right, we're going to move the nose over to this one. Okay, this one is a lot more mellow on the nose. I'm getting the fruitiness. So this is the barley content, 15% malted barley for the E.H. Taylor, 4% malted barley for the Smokewagon. So I'm wondering if this isn't the E.H. Taylor, simply because it's got a fruitier nose. It also has a really nice cinnamon to it. Definitely fruitier. Okay, so now that I've gotten that... Hey, Austin, how are you? Evening, Colonel. Okay, so now the astringency is gone, and I'm getting what seems to be more of a cereal grain in this one. Taking them back to back. So that cereal grain could indicate a higher rye, which means this could be the Smokewagon. All right. Time to taste. Really nice even bloom. Not just on the tongue, but on the top of my mouth, the roof of my mouth. Covered my entire palate. Still continuing to bloom as I swallowed it. Some of those cereal rye notes are definitely standing out. It's not as sweet as I would expect a Buffalo Trace product to be. So the lighter color may be the Smokewagon. Doesn't seem particularly complex, though, either. And the Smokewagon, I remember being particularly complex. So we'll taste that one in a minute. I'm going to give this another taste now that I've gotten that alcohol burn out of my mouth. Brandon's watching. Hey, Brandon, how are you, sir? Got a bit of a tobacco note to it. A little on the earthy side. Again, not nearly as sweet as I would expect E.H. Taylor, but not as complex as I remember Smokewagon being. So, quite good. I'm not going to tell you it's my favorite pour, but it's quite good. Okay, so let's move on to this one. Salud. I should have probably brought something down to cleanse my palate, but I think I'll be all right. Okay. That is very flavorful. It doesn't have any tobacco notes. I'm not going to say it's any sweeter than this one is, which is actually a little bit surprising. Neither one of them are presenting themselves with that Buffalo Trace sweetness. So I am a little bit stumped. I think this one has a more complex palate, a little more going on than this one does. If this one turns out to be the Smokewagon, it's going to be a game changer as far as the taterism towards Z.H. Taylor. I mean, that's going to stay because you can't get it. It's considered a really great pour. But if indeed this taste test proves to me in my palate that the Smokewagon Small Batch is a better pour than this one, I'm going to be amazed. Somebody told me that. I was like, no. But then I tasted the Small Batch. Just like, well, maybe. So, make sure I got the, yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I had the right bottle. All right. I do have an extra glass down here, so at the end of the day I can pour a little bit more of this out just to check the colors and see which one is which, since my pourer went back upstairs and I don't feel like yelling for her. All right, I'm going to do another one of these. It's got a nice rye spice to it. That Lawrenceburg rye, it's got those hallmarks of that really tasty Lawrenceburg rye with a little bit of spice to it. That very well could be the Smokewagon. But we're gonna go back to the other one now. We're just gonna go back and forth until I decide if there's one that I like better than the other. Right now, I'm leaning towards this darker colored one. And again, there's things that make me think it's the E.H. Taylor, and there's things that make me think it's the Smokewagon. So I'm just gonna keep going until I have a definitive winner, and that may be solved here real quick when I go back to this one. And again, I wish I had something to cleanse the palate down here, but I do not. I mean, I could cleanse it with like some some Irish or something. I could. I'm not gonna. All right. I'll be all right. These are very large pours, and I will finish them. And then I'm going to go to sleep. All right. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. All right. The astringency is gone from this one, mostly. Not completely, mostly. Just a little bit of that there. It's got a nice mouthfeel. However, if we're looking at this one being non-chill filtered, this one potentially being chill filtered, the mouthfeel in the two is definitely different. This one is a little bit thinner, not as viscous as this one. This one's going to be potentially aged longer, though, and the E.H. Taylor is aged longer than the Smokewagon, so I am perplexed. Let's go back to this one more time. Not complex, nice flavors. Well-rounded, I wouldn't say there's anything outstanding about it, but it is tasty. It is a nice pour. Going back to this one, however, that's got more flavor to it. I love the spiciness of that rye that's in there. Darker color, not as astringent, definitely bolder flavors. This one's been open, like I said, about 2.5 years. This one's been open about, let's see, well, probably about 8 months, maybe even 9 months now. So they've both been open for a while. These are not neck pours. These are going to be a nice open expression. Who we got here? Ken's with us and Larry's with us. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. This is the battle between East and West. I do not know which is which, but we're about to find out. I will tell you that of the two, the one that I might cherish more in a pour would be this dark colored one. And I don't know which one that is yet. So we're going to find out. I've got an extra glass over here. And we're going to see which one the color in this bottle matches. I'm not going to pour out any more of this. It's E.H. Taylor, and I've only got a little bit of it left. But I didn't know which color was which, because this dark bottle, you can't see through it. Not only is this... No, I'm wrong. Never mind. I'm talking out of my butt. Okay. I'm Dr. Cheeks. We're about to find out. If this was a bingo square, you would have just gotten a square, because I put my glasses on. Oh, that's tough to tell. All right, I think that's the Smokewagon. Let's pull this out of the tube. Because just a little bit of the Taylor left. Okay, so there you have it. Smokewagon wins. For me, the Smokewagon is a better pour than the E.H. Taylor. I never thought I'd believe it. I never thought in a million years that I would tell you that the E.H. Taylor would fall. The kernel of them all would fall to Smokewagon, the newbie of the bunch. This has been around forever. This has only been around a number of years. I forget the year that they started, but it hasn't even been 10 years yet, I don't think. Excuse me. So, yeah, amazingly, Smokewagon. There's another bingo square for you. I burped. Repeatedly. Smokewagon Small Batch has defeated Colonel E.H. Taylor. You could never have told me that that was going to happen. I've only got like a swallow left of that, so I may kill this bottle tonight, or tomorrow, or next week, or sometime. Unreal. All right. So this one bows in defeat. West beats East in this case. The Smokewagon Small Batch. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this experiment will work the same with other Smokewagon brands. I will flat out tell you how disappointed I was in the uncut unfiltered. It tastes good, but for uncut, I want it to be hotter. It's only like 110, and I want it to be up there. I want it to be 120, 125, maybe higher yet after the Angel share comes out. But it isn't. It is what it is, and it's good. The Small Batch, to me, is better. If you are a rye wuss, you don't like high ryes and things. I've had a conversation today with somebody who doesn't like a high rye. He prefers a wheated bourbon, but those are just so different. All of them are just different. Anyhow, he prefers a wheated bourbon instead of the ryes. And, you know, with this one, if you're afraid of rye, I'd suggest getting it anyway, because, again, this is a young rye as far as the barrel aging with an older corn. They age them separately and then blend them together in the end. And then just let it sit there a little bit longer and cook, so to speak. So you're not going to get a lot of that heavy rye spice. Although, when comparing the two, the rye spice on this is definitely more present than on the E.H. Taylor. I'm really surprised that I like the Smokewagon better, but I do, than the E.H. Taylor. I'm going to finish them both. Then I'm going to see myself off to bed. Oh, hilarious! All right, we're a little bit short tonight. Next week we're going to do this again. I did not bring out any of the bottles. I was going to do it. And I even forget what it's called. I'll have to look it up because I forget what Nelson Brothers. So Bell Mead. And next week is contingent on whether or not I can find the counterpart. So Bell Mead, I've got a cask strength Bell Mead, and what I understand is that the cask strength was really the only one to buy. You don't buy other ones because the rest of them just weren't very good. But the cask strength is supposed to be fantastic from the Bell Mead. Well, Bell Mead isn't made anymore, except for in very, very small quantities, and it's sold like regionally. Nelson Brothers, the people who originated Bell Mead, now have changed the name, changed the label, and they have Nelson Brothers, and I understand they do have a barrel strength bourbon that I would be able to take back to back with the Bell Mead. Now, if I can't find the barrel strength bourbon, I'll have to do something different next week because that's just not going to work out. I'll do a different fight. And y'all can suggest what you want to suggest. Tell me what you want. Are there two that you would put back to back to see which one you like better? We did this one other time. The Elijah Craig rye and the Sazerac rye. We took those back to back. They're very similar in mash bill, very similar in proof. Elijah Craig won. So if you're a Sazerac rye fan, try the Elijah Craig rye. It's only 51% rye, it's low rye, just like the Sazerac brand from Buffalo Trace. So anyhow, so make your suggestions if you like. Let me know what you think I ought to do, but if I can find a cask strength Nelson Brothers, then it'll be that versus Bell Mead next week. In the meantime, I do appreciate you being here. Take good care of yourself. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I did not. So have a great week. And again, you could be anywhere. You're here, and I appreciate it. So have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday at 7 o'clock.